In the opening part of this seminar, we talked about estates in land, where we made the point that what you own is not land, not a physical piece of land, but rather an estate, an abstract bundle of rights and duties, such as the lease and the mortgage. But this estate always works by reference to some physical piece of land, and so we want to look at what Hong Kong land law has to say about how this physical piece of land is to be identified. At common law, land included everything above and below the surface, but obviously this can't work in modern society. So first of all, it's accepted that the vertical dimension of land ends when you get to that bit of airspace that's needed for aircraft. Also, that mines and minerals are not included in the definition of land. And what you've got to bear in mind in Hong Kong is that land is usually means an apartment that's up in the air. So in fact what the land that you own is really a piece of airspace. This slide shows section 2 of the Conveyancing and Property Ordinance, which is a definition of land. Notice in C that land includes things attached to land or permanently fastened to anything attached to land. This is an idea we're going to come back to in just a moment. For practical purposes, what you should say is that the contract or deed that creates or transfers an estate in land should describe the relevant land or the relevant piece of airspace very clearly indeed. If you buy some land, do you also get the house that's on the land, the doors and the door handles and the air conditioning units in the house? Do those things count as part of the land, so that when you buy the land you get those things thrown in, as it were? Or do you have to buy those things separately? Land law says that it's a question of whether the house, the door handles and so on are fixtures, in which case they're part of the land, or whether they're mere chattels, not part of the land, things that you would have to buy separately. Traditionally, for the past century or more, Hong Kong land law has used the degree and purpose of annexation tests. The degree of annexation test asks how firmly the item, such as the door, is fixed to the land. The more firmly it's fixed to the land, the more likely it is to be a fixture and to be part of the land. The purpose of annexation test asks what was the purpose of the person who brought the item onto the land when he brought it onto the land. When he brought the door onto the land, did he bring it there with the intention of making it part of the land, in which case it is part of the land? So Hong Kong land law applies those two tests in parallel. The English House of Lords, in a case called Elletstone, said that sometimes it was completely artificial to try to apply the degree and purpose of annexation tests. Sometimes you just have to look at the object on the land and say that, objectively speaking, it's obviously part and parcel of the land. A house or some big building would be an obvious example of something that is simply obviously part and parcel of the land.